This is going to be another one of those very heavy videos. Now, I'm going to share with you a chapter in the Perfect Matrimony, the door to enter into initiation of Tantra and sexual alchemy. Now, I've already read this chapter once, and it's very heavy. It's very heavy. And we're going to go through this all together again. And I would implore you to leave your insights, your knowledge, your wisdom that you glean from my interpretation of this, because sometimes I have to concede, I might be wrong. There are some wild ideas in here that I've kind of had to pause and meditate on and feel out myself. But perhaps I'll just share this and you can let me know as we go on, and I'll color and you can color. And let's explore this together, gentlemen, our inquiry into a mental and spiritual development. So, Chapter 2, the Son of Man. God is love, and his love creates and creates anew. The delectable words of love lead to the ardent kiss of adoration. The sexual act is the real consubstantiation of love in the tremendous psychophysical reality of our nature. Something is created when a man and a woman unite sexually. In those moments of supreme adoration, he and she are really only one androgynous being with the powers to create like the gods. I really like this particular paragraph here, because I think not a lot of Westerners understand this from the perspective of somebody that is naive to the fact that they can create another human being. They have a power of God, of a divine being, and that should not be underestimated or overlooked in respects to what we do with this sexual potency. The Elohim are male and female, man and woman united sexually during the supreme ecstasy of love, are really one terrifically divine Elohim. In those moments of sexual union, we are really in the laboratorium oratorium of holy alchemy. In those moments, the great clairvoyants can see the sexual pair enveloped in terribly divine splendors. We have then penetrated into the sanctum regnum of high magic. With these dreadfully divine forces, we can disintegrate the devil. We carry within and transform ourselves into great hierophants. And this typically refers to an individual that is an interpreter of some kind of esoteric material, like a monk or a priest or a nun. And us in this case is here, so we are becoming great hierophants. As the sexual act is prolonged, as the delightful caress of adorable ecstasy increase, one feels an enchanting spiritual voluptuousness. We are then charging ourselves with universal electricity and magnetism. And this refers to the Ida and the Pingala in terms of the Vedic and Hindu interpretations of how prana and life force energy works. So you've got the Ida and the Pingala, and they intertwine around the Sushumna, which is the inner channel in our energetic body, which is also referred to the electrical element and the magnetic element intertwining around the Sushumna. So terrifying cosmic forces accumulate in the depths of the soul. The chakras of the astral body sparkle. The mysterious forces of the great cosmic mother flow through all the channels of our organism. The ardent kiss, the intimate caress are transformed into miraculous notes which movingly resound within the aura of the universe. We have no way of explaining these moments of supreme pleasure. The serpent of fire is agitated, reference to Kundalini there. The fires of the heart are enlivened, and there upon the forehead of the sexually united being shine the terrifying, rays of the Father in full majesty. So we have that opening of the third eye chakra. If man and woman would know how to withdraw without spasm, which I'm sure you know what that is in reference to. I'm trying to keep myself a little bit more cleaner here on the channel because, again, like I've said, gentlemen, apparently the crass lexicon that I've been using of late isn't favorable to YouTube, so forgive me. In those moments of delightful enjoyment, they would have the willpower to control the animal ego, the lust, the carnality, the impulsivity, the reactivity, the limbic system, you might say. And if at that point when they would retire from the sexual act without releasing, neither inside the womb nor outside of it, they would have then performed an act of sexual magic. And this is what's called in occultism the Arcanum. Really, really interesting and curious insight there in reference to Karetsa, or some people might know it as white tantra. But the idea is that you can have an interplay between your sexual energies, between yourselves and your partner, without having to go through full procreation. And that those individuals who are spiritually involved enough to do this, they can act on greater steps in the spiritual platform, in the spiritual lens. With the Arcanum, we can retain all that marvelous light, all those cosmic currents, all those divine powers. Then Kundalini, the sacred fire of the Holy Ghost, awakens in us, and we become terribly divine gods. I did a couple of weeks ago a video in reference to the Garden of Eden, and this idea that Eden is this place of sanctity, of divination, of non-duality, of union, of yoga. And whenever we lose our sexual fluid, it is interpreted, or there is an interpretation, that we fall from grace. The fall. We fall out of the garden, and then that unity turns into duality, male and female, sex, male and female, sex, right? Yin and yang, sex, duality. So there's two now. And union with God, reconnecting with God, starts when you bring those two forces together, the male and female together. But experiencing release from union brings you back into dualism. You can see here the cosmic currents merge with the universal currents and then penetrate the souls of two beings with a bloody light. The Luciferian forces of evil, fatal magnetism. Then Cupid leaves crying, the gates of Eden are locked. Love becomes disillusionment. Disenchantment arrives, and the black reality of this valley of tears is all that remains. Wow, that's a really remarkable way to describe post-nut syndrome, that post-nut clarity. The Cupid's crying, Luciferian forces. I mean, what do you think? I'd be interested to get your interpretation. I mean, I think as a Westerner living in the world, you have to recognize that, you know, the procreative side of our sexual energy is still a fundamental one. If you're keen on creating family and, you know, a nuclear family and passing on your genetics, of course, I mean, maybe this is very, very harsh, but you can let me know here. When we know how to withdraw before the sexual spasm, the ignominious serpent of our magical powers awakens. The Kabbalists speak of the ninth sphere. The ninth sphere in the Kabbalah is referred to as sex. So this particular Gnostic text, the author is very, very clear on this idea that the perfect matrimony is one where a man and a woman recognize that this divine creative force is, well, in all cases, not even in procreation, according to this particular chapter, should be exercised. I don't completely agree with that fully, because I see family as part of my dharma, and actually part of the antidote to a lot of the Western turmoil and degeneracy that we see in the modern age now. But I do certainly agree with the sanctity of which we are using our sexual energy, of course. And I'm sure that many of you would conclude. But I'm interesting. I mean, some of you have commented maybe opinions that may be similar to the author here in this particular chapter. And I'm curious what you've experienced on this bout of abstinence, of celibacy, and if you've ever heard Cupid crying when you've relapsed. But I'll say no more on this point. Maybe these are theories, maybe these are facts. Let me know, and speak soon.